Thinking, Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman is a seminal work that delves into the intricacies of human cognition, exploring the dual systems of thought that govern the way we perceive, interpret, and react to the world around us. Kahneman, a psychologist and Nobel laureate, provides a comprehensive examination of these two systems. System 1, which is fast, instinctive, and emotional, and System 2, which is slower, deliberative, and logical. This division serves as the backbone of the book, with each chapter building on this framework to explain various cognitive biases, heuristics, and other psychological phenomena. The book is structured into 5 parts, each addressing different aspects of these cognitive systems. The first part, titled Two Systems, introduces the reader to System 1 and System 2. Kahneman illustrates how these systems interact and sometimes conflict, shaping our judgments and decisions. For example, System 1 is responsible for quick, intuitive responses, such as recognizing a friend's face in a crowd or completing the phrase bread and with butter. In contrast, System 2 is activated for more complex tasks, like solving a math problem or preparing for a job interview. However, System 2 is often lazy, and when it defers to the automatic responses of System 1, we are prone to errors. A key concept introduced in this section is the illusion of understanding, where the ease of constructing a coherent story from a set of facts leads us to overestimate our understanding of the world. This is closely linked to the halo effect, where our impression of a person in one area influences our overall perception of them. For instance, if someone is seen as attractive, we might also assume they are intelligent and kind. These cognitive shortcuts, while useful, can lead to systemic errors in judgment. In the second part, Heuristics and Biases, Kahneman delves deeper into the shortcuts that System 1 uses to make decisions. He discusses various heuristics, such as the availability heuristic, where people judge the probability of events based on how easily examples come to mind. This can lead to overestimating the likelihood of dramatic events like plane crashes simply because they are more memorable. Another key bias is anchoring, where individuals rely too heavily on the first piece of information they receive, the anchor, when making decisions. For instance, when negotiating a salary, the initial offer can heavily influence the final agreement. Kahneman also explores the representativeness heuristic, where people judge probabilities based on how much one event resembles another. This can lead to the conjunction fallacy, where individuals assume that specific conditions are more probable than a single general one. An example given in the book is the case of Linda, described as a politically active philosophical woman. When asked whether Linda is more likely to be a bank teller or a bank teller active in the feminist movement, most people incorrectly choose the latter option, even though it is statistically less probable. The third part, Overconfidence, examines the pervasive tendency of individuals to overestimate their knowledge, abilities, and predictions. Kahneman discusses the illusion of validity, where people believe their judgments are more accurate than they actually are, particularly in fields like finance or politics. He introduces the concept of expert intuition, explaining that while experts can develop accurate intuitions in stable, predictable environments, their confidence often exceeds their actual predictive accuracy in complex or random situations. Kahneman also highlights the planning fallacy, where people underestimate the time and resources required to complete a project. This bias is particularly evident in the construction of large infrastructure projects, which often exceed budgets and schedules. By emphasizing the importance of reference class forecasting, Kahneman suggests that individuals should compare their projects to similar past projects to create more realistic plans. In the fourth part, Choices, Kahneman explores how people make decisions under uncertainty. He introduces prospect theory, a groundbreaking theory he developed with Amos Tversky, which challenges traditional economic theories of rational choice. Prospect theory posits that people evaluate potential outcomes relative to a reference point, often the status quo, and that they are loss-averse, meaning they fear losses more than they value equivalent gains. This explains why people might reject a fair gamble, or why they hold on to losing stocks, hoping to avoid realizing a loss. Kahneman also discusses endowment effect, where individuals ascribe more value to things merely because they own them. This can lead to irrational decision-making, such as refusing to sell a cherished possession for a fair price. The certainty effect and possibility effect are also covered, illustrating how people overweight small probabilities and underweight moderate ones, influencing gambling and insurance purchasing behaviors. The final part, Two Selves, explores the concept of the experiencing self and the remembering self, which further complicates the understanding of happiness and well-being. The experiencing self lives in the present, while the remembering self reflects on past experiences. Kahneman explains how the remembering self often dominates, influencing future decisions based on memories rather than actual experiences. He introduces the peak-end rule, where people judge an experience largely based on its peak and its end, rather than the total sum or average of every moment. Kahneman's insights have profound implications for various fields, including economics, business, healthcare, and public policy. By understanding the cognitive biases and errors that affect human judgment, individuals and institutions can develop strategies to mitigate their effects. For instance, in the realm of public policy, awareness of biases can lead to better designed interventions and communications that take into account how people actually think and behave. In summary, Thinking Fast and Slow provides a comprehensive exploration of the dual systems of thought that govern human cognition. Through a detailed examination of heuristics, biases, and other psychological phenomena, Kahneman highlights the strengths and weaknesses of intuitive and deliberative thinking. By understanding these cognitive processes, individuals can improve their decision-making, leading to better outcomes in both personal and professional contexts.